Max, is the Vikings season a bust now if they don't make the Super Bowl?
No. Did you see that? 12-1. You know, against the field, it's not a bust. Look, the best team doesn't always win. Even if the Vikings are right and I'm wrong, because I don't see where Kirk Cousins is better than Case Keenum. In fact, if I had to choose one, I'd choose Case Keenum. They both played in the league last year. Case Keenum didn't have Dalvin Cook, and Case Keenum had a better season than Kirk Cousins, the second best QBR in the NFL. I thought he was quite good, and he won a playoff game. As I said, call it a miracle throw. But meanwhile, Drew Brees had to engineer a score just to take the lead in that game. It's not like Case Keenum was playing behind the whole time. And then when he needed to, he had the miracle throw. So you win a playoff game, or you win that playoff game against Drew Brees after a fantastic regular season without your running back, and you're gone. And in your place is brought in a guy who talent evaluators clearly feel is at least marginally better. And you're giving that guy a lot of money. That doesn't mean, I don't think that was a good move. But that doesn't mean if they don't make the Super Bowl, it was necessarily a bad idea. Not only does the best team not always win, but they got trounced by Philadelphia. And the Eagles, to me, on paper, particularly with Carson Wentz, if he's healthy, is still the class of the division. So the Vikings could even maybe get better. I could be wrong about Keenum, and they could be right about Cousins, and they could still not make the Super Bowl, even with Dalvin Cook. That doesn't make their season a bust. That's why the odds are 12-1. Well, no one is the favorite against the field.
Well, first of all, I think it's important that America understands that if your aspiration is mediocrity, if your aspiration is being a one-year wonder and that's it, you want to work for Max Kellerman. I'm trying to tell you right now, he'll pay you, take care of you the whole bit. Max Kellerman will take care of you. So Case Keenum, who had a career 9-15 record as a starter, never completed more than 60% of his passes until this season, has a breakout year in Minnesota and stopped the presses. I mean, everything goes out the window. He's the man. Oh, whatever. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. I hear you talking. I said Case Keenum. I didn't bring him no Rich Gannon. I said Case Keenum. Here's the bottom line. Is it a bust? Well, if Kirk Cousins balls out, but the Vikings don't make the Super Bowl, I get your argument. But Kirk Cousins has to produce. $84 million guaranteed every penny for 3 years for a dude that you got from the Redskins that's been in the Redskins as a starting quarterback for 3 years, only made the playoffs once, has never won a playoff game, and you guarantee $84 million to him with that defense, with Dalvin Cook returning, with you just being off an NFC Championship game? If Kirk Cousins doesn't ball and Minnesota doesn't make the Super Bowl, you damn right it's a bust. There is no question
if they don't make the Super Bowl.
$84 million? $84 million
It's a
guaranteed?
bust if they don't make the Super Bowl. Okay.
Yes.
It's a bust
I
if they
know
don't make the Super Bowl.
I understood the question perfectly.
They lost by 1,000,000 points to Philadelphia.
It doesn't
you think
matter,
Kirk Cousins is worth 1,000,000 points over Case Keenum?
Excuse me. Guess what? If you win, you get home field advantage. You don't have to be at Lincoln Financial Field. And oh, by the way, they were evenly matched. They just didn't show up because they were living off the miracle in Minneapolis. That's what a week earlier. That's what the hell happened. Kirk Cousins, Case Keenum had one good year, and here you are willing to win. Everybody should want to work for you. Just show up 1 week.
How many good years has Kirk Cousins had, Stephen A?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let me put it this way. There's no question. Number one, it is Super Bowl or bust for the Minnesota Vikings. Because when you give this kind of contract, there's no question what you're saying is this guy's the difference. This guy's the difference. He would have made the difference last year because no one right now wants to point to the fact that outside of Xavier Rhodes in the secondary on the perimeter at the cornerback position, look, the the New Orleans Saints exploited the Minnesota Vikings, and the Philadelphia Eagles actually took them out to the woodshed and exploited them outside of Xavier Rhodes in the secondary, which was as big a problem in that football game in combination with pass rush as there was as to the reason why they lost that football game. Everybody wants to put it on Case Keenum and say he's not good enough to elevate the rest of the football team and make up for some of the deficiencies that they may have from week to week. Well, tell me how Kirk Cousins is good enough to make up for some of the deficiencies on that football team. Please tell me that Kirk Cousins would have been the difference in that football game, and I'll tell you you're crazy. He's not the difference because when it comes down to situational football, which is what we're talking about as what separates good from great and separates great from transcendent, great from Super Bowl performers, great performers, great quarterbacks, transcendent players that are worth $84 to $86, $90 million fully guaranteed. They're the ones who can do that. They're the ones who make the difference. They are the difference. They are the difference. And if Washington truly felt as though Kirk was the difference, he would be in Washington because they would have given him whatever he wanted.
It was a bad signing.
But you know what? Look, the statistics don't bear it out.
But that doesn't mean it's Super Bowl or bust, Louis. Just because
it may not mean that. It may not mean that to you. It means that to them. And trust me, there are people in Minnesota who I guarantee you right now who are sitting in the front office going, it's Super Bowl or bust for us.